Now looking at the draft night, I mean, he was drafted 23rd
Yeah.
overall by the Utah Jazz.
Yes.
He was then traded to the Memphis Grizzlies and
Yeah.
then to Oklahoma City. So,
Mm-hmm.
what were your emotions like on that night?
Oh my gosh. I was nervous. I was
Yeah.
very, because draft night, they don't tell you nothing. They don't say,
Yeah.
oh, like, hey, don't tell your kid, but so and so's interested. They don't tell you anything, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So I have my own thoughts, right? I'm like,
Yep.
oh, Boston's gonna want him, but I didn't want him to go to Boston, not because of the team. I absolutely loved the Celtics because I'm from Boston, so it's kind of,
Yeah.
I absolutely love Boston, but I didn't want him to go back to Boston because I'm like, oh my goodness, we left Massachusetts when he was so young, and now that he is who he is, he's gonna have all these people at him. Oh, I know you, and oh, we're family. He doesn't know those people from a hole in a
Yeah,
wall. Like,
exactly.
he knows who he knows, and that's it. But then I was just like, I had heard that Oklahoma was a really good place for young basketball players because it keeps them
Yeah.
focused, and it's not he's not a like a party person. He's not one who likes to hang out in front of like and be all around people. He's never been that type of person. Like, he has his friends, he'll hang out with them, but he's never been like a crowd person. So I was like, oh, maybe you should go to Oklahoma. That would be wonderful because then he could stick to his focus would stick with basketball, and
Right.
he would he would be okay because he's pretty much a homebody ultimately.
Oh, okay.
So I'm like, okay, this would be great. So I was like, it's got to be one of the two, and we're great. So when they called his name, like, I can see he's getting antsy. Like, he's like, oh my gosh, like the first round is, I mean, he's about to be
Right,
over.
right.
Like, what's going on? What's gonna happen? And I'm like, I actually text his agency, not Rich. I text somebody else within the
Yep.
agency, and I was like, hey, I'm so nervous. And she texts back, she's like, you'll be fine, you'll be fine. And as he's coming out to announce the 23rd pick, my phone rings, and it's the agency. They're in New York at the event, and I pick up the phone, and I can barely hear her because all the stuff going on in her background. I can't hear because all stuff is going on in my environment. We're at a restaurant.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
And
hold on. Where were you
yeah, we
draft
were
night?
at yeah,
Hold
we
on, and
were
let me ask that question. Who
at
were you with, and where were you?
we were at a restaurant with, like, like my mom, all of his siblings,
Okay.
and my fiance at the time, and now we're married, but um, and like a few of his friends was there, a couple of his coaches that he, still interacted
Yes.
with, and I think one of his school teachers that he still talks to now,
Okay.
and was there. It wasn't a whole lot of people, but there were people there, and I can feel that he's like, oh, what's going on? And I'm nervous, like, please don't disappoint my son. Please don't disappoint him. Right? So, and then I'm like, she was like, are you ready? And then I stopped listening to the phone because I heard, like, he was like, and the Utah Jazz, blah, blah, blah. And then he said, Darius Bazley. And I said, like, I was just so
Oh,
like, thank you, Jesus. You know what I mean? Like, thank God that,
yes.
he's got the opportunity, and, we're in,
Of course.
the whole place was just like, yeah, congratulations. So, like, I was like, so grateful for that. So grateful for that.
Oh. So once you knew he was going to OKC, what were the first few days like following draft night?
Oh my gosh. My phone was going crazy with, with family and friends and
Mm-hmm.
reporters, because
Oh yeah.
Cincinnati kept a close watch on him because he was a
Yeah.
five-star recruit. But so it was like that was going crazy. Probably like a week, probably like the first week, it was just amazing. I was just like, I'm not answering my phone anymore. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, if you're not my parents, I'm not answering any more phone calls because there was so many people calling back to back to back. People that, as you know, people you haven't talked to in years, pick up the phone and call you. Yeah. So I'm just like, oh, thanks, but what are you calling for? So like, like what?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So
people from kindergarten were calling you. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm like,
yeah,
how'd you, like you said, how did you get my phone number?
I know. I was like, damn, Facebook.
Yeah,